Welcome to this segment of Beer to Whiskey. I'm Russ Heaps, and here I am on my eternal quest to spread the gospel of good taste and find fellow travelers who are doing the same thing. So I am in Dallas, Texas today, and we're just going to talk a little bit of beer. I'm talking to the two owners here, the two partners. We've got Brad Mall, and we've got Darren Williams. And guys, thanks for having us.
Thanks for being here.
Absolutely.
Why don't you guys get us started here? How this thing get rolling? How'd you get this thing rolling?
Well, both of us made beer for a while independently. I started making beer in college in my dorm room at the University of the South, and ended up meeting with Darren about 12, 15 years ago, probably. And started brewing shortly after we met each other together. Brewed together for a good long while. Entered homebrew competitions, won some homebrew competitions, and right about that time, the Dallas beer scene was starting to take off. Breweries were starting to be formed, and we decided that, you know what, we can do this. So we put our nose to the grindstone and worked for a couple years to raise some capital and get this thing going, and open our doors in July of 2015.
So when it comes to making the big decisions, who rules the roost here?
Oh, it's 50-50 partnership.
Oh yeah. It is a partnership, so we both have our say in it. But I mean, yeah, generally any of the big decisions we sit down and go over them together.
I know neither one of you guys are the brewmaster, but are you involved in the beers that are being made? Are you still got your hands in it, so to speak?
Oh, 100%. Most of our beers that we make are beers that Darren and I made as homebrewers before. We have a homebrewer, Matt Pennington, who is amazing.
Head brewer.
Did I say pro brewer?
No, you said homebrewer.
Thank you.
Yeah, Matt's our head brewer.
Matt is our head brewer,
and we work real closely with him. We have given him the reins a little bit more to do work pilot batches and stuff like that, small tap or small batch stuff. He has free reins on that, but when it comes to a new beer that we're going to do, we definitely sit down with him and go over those recipes.
At any point in your life, until you actually really got involved in this, did you think to yourselves, oh yeah, this is what I'm going to do is run a craft brewery?
Honestly, if someone had told me after graduating from college that there was a possibility of having a job in the beer industry, I wouldn't have done what most other kids that don't want to get a job after college did and go to law school. So I didn't know that there was Siebel Institute in Chicago or the fermentation sciences degree at UC Davis. I didn't know those existed. But always in the back of my mind when we were homebrewing was, wouldn't it be great if we could turn this hobby into a career? And once the beer markets around here started changing and breweries started popping up, and we kind of saw that it was actually a possibility, I think both of us were really keen on getting out of our current positions and getting into the beer industry as fast as we could.
Darren, what was the beer, your aha beer, the beer that you thought, okay, I'm done with Coors Light, I'm going to start drinking some good beer now?
I would say it would probably be Fat Tire or Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. I mean, that's probably, and I'll bet money that 50% of the people out there, those were the two beers that probably turned them to going to craft beer. That was sometime around probably the 1995 range, 6 range, where I started actually drinking true craft beers. So I spent a summer in Colorado, and that was probably the time that it really did for me.
You need to come to Greenville, South Carolina, because just up the road is the East Coast Sierra Nevada Brewery and the East Coast New Belgium Brewery.
There you go.
And I've got to tell you, I've never been to the New Belgium one yet. Shame on me, but the Sierra Nevada is it is a destination in itself. Sure. It's worth going, making that trip just to go there. But,
absolutely.
Brad, what was your aha?
I think, I know it started in my freshman year in college. My parents would bring Shinerbach and Celis.
Your parents were?
My parents would bring it up to college to me from, I went to school in Tennessee.
That was pretty cool.
And they would mule cases of Shinerbach and Celis white and Celis raspberry to me. And so the Celis beers, Pierre Celis, formerly of Hogarten, he had a brewery in the early 90s in Austin. And that was kind of my first exposure to something a little bit different than the macro beers. And then I spent a year in England and got the flavor for some of those beers over there. Some like Theakston's Old Peculiar and Old Speckled Hen and some of those beers that are just amazing. And that did it.
So you guys opened up in 2015. Is this where you opened? Is this where you got your start?
Yes, this is our original location. We don't have any place else besides this, and we're growing like crazy into it.
Do you see yourselves getting too big for this?
The one thing we heard when we talked to other breweries before we opened up, other local breweries, they said the amount of expansion that they had in their first couple years and growing out of their spaces has become a big problem to them. And so we sized this facility and went out and sought a facility that was big enough for that. Our production floor right now is about 2,200 square feet. We're about grown out of that. The total facility is 16,000 square feet. The tap room's obviously a good size.
Sure.
We've got this facility for the potential for expansion.
Right.
Is there a specialty beer that you guys do? Is there something that you're known for?
Well, we make 6 beers year round. We can 5 of those. Our flagship beer, if you had to say that, I mean, I don't like calling any beer our flagship, but our best seller is Freaky Deaky. It's our Belgian triple. We've won 11 national awards in the 2.5 years we've been open. The one that we're most proud of is a silver medal at World Beer Cup for our Imperial Black Saison chump change. And one thing that we're also proud of was with that chump change, we put it in Jack Daniel's barrels this year, and we were one of 4 breweries in the United States to get barrels from Jack Daniel's. I'll let Darren speak a little bit more about it. He's our barrel master, but
that's what we're drinking right now.
That's what we're drinking right now.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So how did all this come about?
The barrels?
Yeah. The whole. Yeah.
We were contacted by some of the Brown-Forman and Jack Daniel's representatives, and had said that they were going to, they've never really given away or sold barrels from Jack Daniel's, specifically as Jack Daniel's. Generally, what they would do is actually burn the name off of it or something, then resell it to the secondary market. So we were contacted with them and offered a partnership to partner with them and given the barrels and actually figure out which beer we want to put in it. They came in and met with us. We let them try the beer, both the unbarrel aged and the previous year's barrel aged version. They thought it was a great fit, and it's been a great partnership ever since.
Tell me about this. What is it exactly that we're drinking?
So it's an Imperial Black Saison. It really
which is unique for barrel
That's what I was
aged.
going to say. In general, it truly is a style that does not exist. We're starting to see a few more black saisons come into the market. When we devised this recipe as homebrewers, there literally were none. It just isn't something that you would think a saison would be. It looks like a porter or a stout, but tastes like a saison. So it's saison based with dark, roasted malts. And I mean, we really kind of made this beer to trick the palate. You have your eyes think you're going to drink something, and then when you taste it, be a little confused because you think you know what you're gonna taste out of the beer, but you really don't get that.
And as somebody who I really like barrel aged beers, being a bourbon guy as well as a craft beer guy, but my reaction to it was it's really subtle.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't come across with that big bourbon punch that a lot of the barrel aged beers do.
Right.
And I'm assuming that's because of the saison style.
It is. That's correct.
Well, and it's a balance, and that's one thing that Darren and our brewers are really great at is getting that balance from the barrel. If it had such a huge, overwhelming bourbon flavor up front, it would mask all of the subtle saison characteristics, the orange peel, the coriander, the grains of paradise on the back end that still shine through in a 10% beer.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
So you've invented this beer.
Well, tap the brakes there. There were a couple of styles that I think Green Flash.
Green Flash had one that they'd made before, but it wasn't
Yeah.
it wasn't commercially available anymore.
Right.
And that, I think, if I remember, that was the only one when we were looking at it.
There may have been one
But
other.
now, when you search Black Saison, there's a few of them out there,
Yeah.
and I get it. I mean, there's more breweries, and everyone's trying different things.
Well, and which is a good thing, and that's the
Right.
best thing about having a
Absolutely.
gazillion craft breweries now is
Right.
is there are a lot of you guys that are really kind of pushing the envelope on it. Is there something that you're not making that you would like to make that you're thinking, boy, that's sort of an aspirational?
Well, we personally, I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but we get it all the time from whether it's people come into the brewery or our sales guys saying something, or our brewers. And again, with the brewers, we let them do whatever they want on our pilot system. They can any day of the week, if they don't have too much to do on the production side, they're fully welcome to come up with something on their own. What I think we're missing, I can't really think of anything. I mean, I'm a saison guy. We have 2 saisons. Our other saison is technically my favorite beer that we make, and it's named after me as well. So I can't think of anyone off the top of my head.
We don't make sours.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
one of the things we don't do. We don't kettle sour beers. We don't Brett sour beers. By choice. We choose not to risk infection of our brewery.
I understand that's a big
That's not to say we won't do it eventually. We're just not quite comfortable with the processes yet.
Right.
So I would say if there's one style or one niche that we're not doing, that would probably be the one that, because I think creeks and lambics and things like that are phenomenal, and it's something that you can't get
Barely.
here. You can't get them at all, but I mean around the country, it's it's hard. I mean, the closest we have here is Jester King in Austin, which makes some amazing beers.
On that note, barrel-aged sour would be my answer now that he says that.
Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, like a Ode Bruin or something like
Yeah.
that would be fantastic.
Yeah, I was at Jester King probably 6 or 7 months ago, and it's it's kind of it's a different sort of brewery.
absolutely.
It's a very I felt like I needed to have some beads and things and walk around. But but they are doing some nice sour. They're doing some good sours there.
Yep.
So that's a good thing. Well, guys, I appreciate the invite.
Absolutely.
And it's been fun talking beer with you.
Absolutely.
And this is killer.
Thank you.
I got to
you.
tell you, this is killer.
Prost. Thank you.
And I'm not a big
Cheers.
saison guy,
There you go.
unlike you,
Yeah.
Darren. But this is killer right here.
Thank you.
Until next
Prost.
time.
Cheers.